What's going on, people? So, this little group of videos I'm about to record, it's my last batch for August, which means it's possibly my last time hanging out with old Juke Nudie up there. He's the guy that's on the calendar and also the dude that drew these two pictures, right? So next month, who knows, unless he shows up again, it'll probably just be someone else from the little Sneaker Hearts group, right? But we'll see what happens. So for now though, this right here, not too long ago, I feel like maybe 3 weeks ago, something like that, I put up a little post in the community section of YouTube, right, where you can just kind of say things or ask questions or whatever. I put the question out there to see what people would like want me to review when I start buying shoes again or whatever, because I was so backed up on reviews that I wasn't considering any new things at the time. But then I started talking to Wade County about something, and somehow the conversation shifted over to these, which, if you want to look at the side of the box, is the Retropy E5. So he mentioned something about these because they were somehow relevant to whatever we were talking about, and I got a little curious, and so now here we are. Which means that we're going to do a little bit of a breakdown about this right here. As I said, the Adidas Retropy E5 in the gray and acid orange colorway. Yeah. So it's kind of a decent looking shoe, you know. It kind of got my attention because it reminded me of the Aniki runners. Remember these right here? They were a fairly hot commodity back in like 2016 or 17, and then they disappeared. Then they were replaced kind of with the 5923s, and then those kind of took a weird turn. But yeah, I liked them. I liked those. I thought I would like these. So now let's talk about them and see if I do actually like these. I'm going to start this review at the bottom because why not? So down there, what you're looking at is one of the things that caught my attention, which is the gum bottom. I do really like that. It also has a very blocky look to it, and in case you're curious, those blocks do add a little bit of extra height to you. So that was a little bit weird because anything over 5'6" just starts to make me feel awkward. Just saying. But otherwise, pretty much your standard stuff. I don't believe this is Continental, but I'm not 100% sure. Sometimes it's labeled, sometimes it's not, and I didn't look it up. Moving on to the midsole here. So in the midsole you have Boost, which is one of the other things that caught my attention, right? So it is a nice chunky midsole, so I do kind of like that. I'm not a huge fan of how it kind of sticks out on the back end. It just gives it a weird look, but that's just kind of a visual thing. It didn't seem to affect how I feel about the shoe overall, so I'm not going to complain about it. Now, giving you a whole look overall at the upper for the most part, as you can see, there's not a whole lot to really say about it. So this shouldn't take too long to get through, right? Now, down here around the toe box area, what you have here is a decent feeling like budget level suede, right? Nothing too fancy about it, but for, what is this, $120 retail? You shouldn't expect too much anyway, right? And then one of the things that I thought was weird is their choice of material here. It kind of feels like a jacket material, I think. I haven't worn a jacket in years, so I'm not quite sure. But I think it's like a jacket type material, like that windbreaker type stuff. Which also reminds me of the New Balance 327. I saw a pair at Champs the other day, and I was like, what does that remind me of? It reminds me of this, right? Or maybe it's the other way around based on which came first. I'm not sure which came first. But anyway, so moving on to the mid section here, you got more of that material on the side, and you do have these stitched on stripes, right? So that's going to be in that acid orange colorway, which originally I thought was more of a yellow because I didn't quite look at the picture close enough. It is what it is though. I do kind of like it, and once again, that's another piece of the design that kind of reminds me of the Aniki runners. So there's that. Moving back just a little bit around the heel section, you have that same suede as you had on the front, just on the back. Nothing to talk about it from the front, so there's nothing to talk about with the back, right? And then above that, what you have is, it feels like it's going for that leather type feel, but it mostly feels like plastic. Well, cheap leather. And then on the back, you do have in that same orange color, you have the Adidas logo, right? So there's that as far as the back. That concludes a lot of the shoe, but let's step around over here to the lacing area and get this thing really finished up as far as the outside. So around the laces, you have more of that suede going on, and then holding down the laces, you have what kind of reminds me of the ZX8000s, where it has this little plastic hoop type stuff going on, right? They're very sturdy though, so if you're wondering if these might break off or whatever, I'm thinking no, unless you are just you know, unless you don't know how to handle your shoes or whatever. Some people are like that, you know, have a real mice and men situation. Anyways, so moving on past that though, with the laces here, it's just your standard flat white laces, nothing too crazy going on there. They feel decent, but they also feel, again, on that budget level, so it's consistent, right? Now, behind that, one of the things that is kind of weird about this shoe, at least in my opinion, is the way they did the tongue. It's just the material on here. I don't know even how to describe it. It has like a rubbery feel to it, but it's got like a weird texture at the same time. Otherwise, on there it just says Adidas, and then down at the bottom it's got it's got the standard words that it often has on the side of like NMDs and things like that, right? So I believe it's German or Dutch or something. But anyways, that's about it. And that tongue, in case you're curious, it is very thin, very thin. And in case I forget to remember or forget to mention it later, it does kind of take a little getting used to. I think some breaking in time is what's needed, because it will kind of poke into your foot just a little bit when you start walking at first. I assume that something like that will go away just because of the way this material is, but don't judge this shoe completely on those first few steps. Just walk away with that information, right? Now, moving on past that, I think I've covered most of the outside, so we'll dip down onto the inside. What you're seeing on the inside, the insole is similar to that tongue material, right? As far as how it feels. Not so plasticky, but just the texture of it kind of reminds me of the outside there. But otherwise, it's just gray and, what is this? Acid orange is what they're going with here. So there you go. And you can kind of see in there somewhat that the shoe is fairly thin, so I do like that, right? Because I like breathability. Now, that concludes pretty much everything about the visual piece of the shoe. I'll hit you with some personal thoughts, let you know where these stand for me. Now, this is based off of some 70s model that they had before, just, you know, standard 70s type runner shoes and whatnot. And I think I'm starting to like that type of look, right? It just seems to work for me, right? So when I saw these, it did catch my attention, and now that I've got them in hand, I would say that it was worth the money I spent. They are on sale right now, which the sale will be over by the time you see this video, but I expect these to be on sale a lot, and they also have a lot of colors. So if you're looking at getting a pair, which I think you should consider, I would say wait until they're on sale. And if anything, they'll probably drop in price overall soon enough. So don't rush, but just keep your eyes open. Because so far, I'm very content with this purchase. And I would definitely suggest, well, first off, before I suggest buying a pair, you might want to wait through the rest of the video and watch that for the sizing stuff so you know which size to buy. But I think if you get a pair, I think you'll be cool with it. And if you're not, they have a pretty generous return policy, you know what I'm saying? But as for me, I'm cool with these. So maybe you'll be cool with them too. Let me know what you think if you ever get a pair. Now, moving on from all that good stuff, right? As far as the sizing and the comfort and whatnot, we're gonna get into that now, so that way you can get the whole picture of what you might wanna think about these shoes, right? So, sizing, right? I bought these in a 9.5 because that's my true to size, and it's what I go with on pretty much everything. These fit exactly like I expected them to, so if you had any of those Nike runners, or if you happen to just have any similar other Adidas shoes, go with that standard size. If you're not sure, you can compare it to like in certain Air Maxes, things like that. Any casual shoe for the most part, it's a true to size fit in my personal opinion, so go with that for these. Now, past that, when it comes to like the comfort and walking around in these, I did mention something about how they do kind of feel a little higher because of the way the ridges are on the bottom of the shoe. So if that's a thing that sways you in one way or the other, know that that's a factor here, right? And do whatever you do. Past that though, it does feel really comfortable walking around in them compared to like those Nikes and stuff like that. This Boost is definitely significantly chunkier, which I do appreciate, because after doing a quick comparison, it felt like just being barefoot almost on those Nikes. And I really like those, you know? But these are very solid. And then the upper is really good too. I'm not gonna like sing its praises, but it just gets a thumbs up overall. The one part that is a little bit weird is down around the toe box where it has that other material. It just kind of feels weird because on your toes, in your feet area, you know, you feel the suede and then you feel that, and it's just that mix of materials. To me, it's just strange, right? So I kind of wish they hadn't done that, but it doesn't really affect anything. It's just something that might take a little getting used to. So otherwise though, I think that's about it as far as the sizing and the comfort. I'm expecting these to be a very nice all-day wear shoe, which is a thing that I'm a huge fan of. So that being that, I think we're good on pretty much everything about this review. So I'm just gonna go ahead and get things wrapped up because I got 2 more to knock out, right? I'm a busy man sometimes. Then I got 3 to actually edit later tonight, and then I'll edit these probably tomorrow. Anywho, from me to you, have a nice rest of your day or rest of your night, whatever it is, wherever you are. Like I said, I got a bunch of stuff to do, so thanks to anybody who watched this. And if you liked the video or something, you know, like, and I mean like actually appreciated the video, go ahead and leave a comment down below as to why you liked it, what you liked about it. Because if I ever decide to change things, I like to know what I shouldn't change. You know what I'm saying? Anyways, later people.